Hi, it's Pavel with a C# exercise from the book C# How to Program. And this is Chapter 7, Exercise 8, Parking Charges. The assignment says that a garage charges $2 a minimum fee to park for up to 3 hours. So if you park 3 hours, I suppose included, you would pay $6. After that, you pay an additional 50 cents per hour for each hour or part of the hour in excess of 3 hours. In other words, if you park, let's say 4 hours, then you pay the 2 times 3, which is up to 3 hours, makes $6, and then you pay an additional hour, that's $2 plus 50 cents for that hour. All right, so the maximum charge for any given 24-hour period is $10. In other words, if you park long enough and it exceeds $10, you will only pay $10, even if you park more hours than that. Now we'll assume that no car parks longer than 24 hours at a time. We will write an app that calculates and displays the parking charges for each customer who parked in the garage yesterday. You should enter the hours parked for each customer. The app should display the charge for the current customer and should calculate and display the running total of yesterday's receipts. In other words, we will have to loop through all the customers. We will enter how many customers entered the garage. We will loop through them, display a charge for each one of them, but we will also do a running total, and at the end we will display the total sales or the total charges for all customers. And the app should use method CalculateCharges to determine the charge. All right, so I have started the program. So let's do this. I will do a class. I will add a class, and I will call it I don't know, charges, and I'll call it customers. All right, and this class will be the one that we will do all the calculations in. So again, we have some values that are given. These are not going to change, so we can declare some constants. So for example, the minimum charge is $2, so we can do a constant, uh, and it's I'll make it a double since it's a currency. Minimum charge equals 2. Next one, the surcharge is 50 cents. So that's a constant again, double surcharge, and that equals 50 cents. Next one, the maximum charge for any given 24-hour period is $10. So the max, I will do the max charge constant, and that equals 10. Another constant we may need. Another constant we need is actually the 24 hours, which is because we will be checking against that to make sure that the car did not, the user did not enter like 25 hours, for example. So constant max hours, and it's this one's an integer, and it is 24. Let me see if there's any other. That looks okay for now. All right, so we have the class. Now let's do the method that they want us to do is calculate charges. But before that, let's make the constructor for this one. So our public it's a customers, and it will accept. The user will enter how many hours the customer parked. So it will accept. It will accept a double because we can enter 3.5 hours, for example. So double, I will do hours. Okay. This is whatever the user enters. We have to make sure that it's not more than 24, and we can as well make sure that it's not less than I don't know 1. Well, at least 0, so the user doesn't enter negative numbers. For that, we can simply do a property. We can do properties that we will call public hours, and it's going to be a double because again we can have decimal places, decimal points. So public hours, and the get will simply return our hours, which we will have to declare. All right, private hours, and that's going to be, I forgot, it's a double. Okay, so we will return hours over here, and we will set the hours. We will validate the input. So we will simply do if the value the user supplied is less than 0, or the value is greater than 24, then well, then we can throw an exception, or we can simply inform the user that the value is incorrect. So console.writeLine you entered invalid value. Otherwise, our hours will equal the value. Everything would be correct, so we can assign the value. I'm still thinking about just throwing an exception here, which we will do. Throw new exception x, and we will simply say invalid input. All right, so we got the hours. So over here we have to assign our property. I don't know why I did it all capitalized. It's supposed to be just like that. So our hours now equals the hours that the user supplied. Our property hours equals these hours. All right, so we make sure that the value is correct, and we can do the calculation method. They want us to call it CalculateCharges, so we can do that. Public, I guess it will. I'm thinking, is it gonna return anything, or is it gonna be void? Yeah, it will return. Public double calculate charges, and it will return the charges itself. So now we have to do the conditions. So the 3 hours is the minimum fee. I mean, $2 is the minimum fee for 3 hours. So yeah, we can, we can do a switch and check our hours in case nah, now we cannot do this because we need an if statement. If hours is less or equal to 3, then return hours times whatever the charges are, $2, and that's the minimum charge. So minimum charge. All right. So if the user part enters hours less than 3 or equal to 3, the result will be hours. So let's say that he enters 3, so hours would be 3. That's our property here, times minimum charge, which is 2. So it will return 6. Else if hours is greater than 10, remember the condition that the maximum charge is $10. Oh, so it's not 10 hours, it's $10. So it's something we'll have to actually validate. So else if hours times okay, never mind. Let's do it this way. We'll simply do else. In other words, it's greater than 3. We don't have to validate whether it's greater than 24. We already do it here when we're assigning the value to our property. So else we will calculate. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna return hours times minimum charge. Actually, not hours, but 3. That's the first 3 hours. All right. So 3 times minimum charge. I could just write 6, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. So it's $6 for the first 3 hours. That's given because it's 2 times 3. Plus, and for every hour after that, that's going to be the surcharge of 50 cents. So I have to. Nah, this is not gonna work either. Actually, it will. What we will do is hours minus 3. So let me get rid of these brackets. So we do the 6, which is the initial $6, and then we will calculate hours minus 3 times. Put it in additional brackets here. So this will be times the minimum charge plus surcharge, because now the charge is $2.50. So we will do times minimum charge plus surcharge, and this has to be in a separate bracket like that. Okay, so this else 6 is the fair charge for the first 3 hours. Then we did this. I don't have to type it, just listen. After that, we'll deduct 3 from all the hours that that was part, and those hours. So let's say the user part, 6 hours or 7 hours to make it easier. So we paid $6. Then we will have 7 minus 3, so we're left with 4 hours left, and those hours we charge $2.50. We charge the minimum charge plus surcharge for each of those hours. All right, and we return the result of that. Whew, all right. So that's what we're returning from the calculate charges. So now we need to make sure over here that when the charges are greater than 10, we only charge 10. And the best way to do it probably would be simply, I'm just going to do declare variable called total charge, And that's what I will be doing here. So our total charge, rather than directly returning the value, I will assign it to total charge equals, and this way now I can verify that the total charge is not greater than 10. So if total charge is greater than 10, then total charge equals 10. Else, no else. If it's greater than 10, then it's only 10. That's the maximum that we charge. So instead of you know what, here instead of 10, I should use the constants, because if we decide to increase the price, I can simply do 11 here and it will automatically be passed on. So, and over here too, our total charge will equal the max charge. Okay, and over here we will return the total charge variable. Okay, so again we calculate, make sure that it's not, if it's less than 3, if the hours are less than 3, we simply charge $2 an hour, which is our minimum charge, times the hours. Otherwise, even over here, when I say 6, I could, and I should probably do minimum charge times 3, because that's the minimum hours. And again, that's because now when I change the minimum charge, I don't have to go throughout the program and look where I use those charges. And I can even do this constant integer minimum hours. Well, it's not really minimum hours. I will just call it basic hours, I guess. Basic hours, and in our case, it will equal 3. And now I can replace that right here with the constant basic hours, and I don't have to use any magic numbers, and wonder why do I have 3, so I don't have to comment anything, because it will be obvious what I am doing. And again, if I decide to change any of these values, I don't have to go through here and mess with the equation at all. So I'm returning the total charge, and now I think that's really all. Now we can go to our program and ask for the input. So we go first, we'll do the integer, and I'll call it number of customers. And now we will ask the user to enter console.writeLine. Please enter number of customers. Remember, over here we are write an app that calculates and displays parking charges for each customer. We will ask the user how many customers there were, and now we can loop through that. So our number of customers equals, we'll convert it to integer, convert to integer 32, console.readLine. All right, so whatever user, and we ask the user to enter the number of customers, and it will store the result of the input in our number of customers variable. And now we'll loop through each customer and display the calculate charges. So we'll do for integer I equals, I'll start with 1, because we don't have 0 customers, and over here I will do I is less or equal to of number of customers. That's how many times we will loop, and we of course have to increase it with each iteration. So now I will ask the user console dot write line, please enter the number of hours customer. Over here I will do a placeholder. This will hold the number of customer, which would be the I. With each iteration the I increases, and the I will be actually like the ID of the customer. In other words, the first time this runs, it will say, please enter the number of hours customer 1 part. So we have that, and our placeholder will be the I. All right. Now we have to create the customer. All right. So we will simply do our customers customer equals new customers, and we will pass the number of hours the user enters, which I have to, of course, create a variable for. So double I'll just take hours. So our hours will equal, again we have to do convert, but this time to double, because hours will be double whatever the user entered, console.read line. All right, so now we have the customer, and we call in the we create in the object, calling the constructor, and we have to pass the number of hours into our constructor. So here it is. Now the customer is being created, and now we can simply do call the we have access to the CalculateCharges method, which we can output console dot write line customer, and again it's going to be the I, the customer 1, charges are, and over here I will do another placeholder, and it's going to be placeholder 1, and I will do it formatted as currency, so it will be with 2 decimal places. So the first placeholder holds I, the number of customer, and this one will hold the our customer dot calculate charges, whatever is returned from there. All right, and semicolon, and I think that might be all. We need to still calculate the running total, but let me just see if this one if we get any errors here. So that read line, because I have to pause the screen here. All right, so let's see if this is going to work. It should. I don't see why it wouldn't. Okay, so let's enter number of customers. I'll only enter 3. And now you have, please enter the number of hours customer 1 part, and I will enter 10. So the customer charges are $10, because that is the maximum charge. So if I enter 10, the total charges would be over 20, but the maximum charge is 10. So that's all I do. Now 3 hours, that should be $6 charge, which it is. And the last one, I'll enter 4 hours, which should be $8.50, because that's the $50 surcharge, and it is. All right, so that's working. Now all we need is some total, which is double total, and over here our total. Where do I put that? Over here, I can simply do total equals, or total plus equals customer dot calculate charges. So whatever for each customer's charges are added to our total. And over here at the end, after we finish the looping, we can output the console dot write line total charges for all customers are, and again it's going to be a placeholder with a currency in it, and what am I doing? Semicolon. Over here I will need to pass the total. That's what the placeholder is. Let me see. I'm getting some kind of a error, an unsigned variable. All right, so I will initialize it to 0. All right, so let's try again. I'll try to do the same numbers. I remember them. So we got three customers. The first one parked 10 hours. So the charges would be $10, the maximum. The second one parked 3 hours, that's 6. And the next one parked 4 hours, which was $8.50. So we have 10 plus 6 plus $8.50, and that's $24.50, which it is. So there you have it. Fairly simple, straightforward. Now you don't have to create a class, with the customers for this particular exercise, but I think it's a good practice to do it because you need to practice object orientation. What you could do, you could simply take this method, the function, and place it here, right there in the main. You don't even have to create any objects. You can simply call the method and calculations right there. But I prefer it this way. I think it's cleaner and it's C#, so that's object oriented. So there you have it. Don't forget to create constants whenever you can. Instead of using actual numbers in the calculations, use the constants or your variables. That way, if anything changes, you can simply change the values right here, and it will carry out or carry through the whole project without the need to change anything anywhere else in the program. And over here, we'll simply ask the how many hours, how many customers there were. That's how many times we loop. We create an object for each customer. We will output the charges, and we will add those charges to the total, which is our running total, and at the end we will display the total. And there you have it. It's fairly simple. I hope it helped you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.